The arrival of the Guardians, the vast expanse of space, had always been a realm of mystery and wonder, but it had also become a stage for the ultimate conflict. The Galactic Council had convened in response to a series of alarming reports about an emerging power in the galaxy, humanity. For centuries, humanity had been seen as a fledgling race, their technological prowess overshadowed by more established civilizations. But now, whispers of an unprecedented power were circulating among the stars. As the council gathered in the grand hall of the celestial citadel, the tension was palpable. High Chancellor Xelos, a being of immense wisdom and authority, presided over the meeting. His voice resonated with an air of gravitas as he addressed the assembly. "We are faced with a situation that demands our utmost attention," Xelos began. "The reports we've received about the humans' capabilities are troubling. They've developed a fleet of supercarriers that rival even our most advanced ships." Among the council members was Admiral Ceres, a seasoned veteran known for her strategic genius. Her eyes narrowed as she reviewed the data projected before them. These supercarriers are not just massive, they are equipped with technology we have never encountered before. Their capabilities could shift the balance of power in the galaxy. The room was abuzz with murmurs of concern. The Galactic Council had always prided itself on maintaining control and order, but this new development threatened to upend everything they had built. In a remote corner of the galaxy, on the edge of a lush, green planet, a human representative was meeting with an alien envoy from the Zorath Dominion. Commander Elena Carter, a fearless leader of the United Earth Forces, was known for her tactical brilliance and unwavering resolve. Across from her sat Ambassador Koran, a stoic figure from the Zorath Dominion, whose people had a reputation for their formidable military prowess. "We've detected an unusual surge of activity from the humans," Koran said. "Their technology is advancing at an unprecedented rate. We need to understand their intentions before it's too late." Elena nodded, her gaze steady. "We're aware of the situation. Humanity has been rapidly developing its capabilities, and we're prepared to meet any challenge head-on. Our supercarriers are equipped with cutting-edge technology, but we must remain vigilant." As the two leaders spoke, an ominous presence loomed in the background. The celestial citadel's sensors had picked up an unusual signal emanating from a nearby star system. The signal was a distress call from a mining colony that had recently fallen silent. The council decided to investigate, suspecting that this might be related to the mysterious rise of human power. A small task force was dispatched to the coordinates. Upon arrival, they discovered a sight that left them stunned. The mining colony had been completely devastated, its structures in ruins, and its inhabitants nowhere to be found. The only sign of what had transpired was a message scrawled in hurried, desperate writing on the wall: "The Guardians are coming." The significance of this message was not immediately clear, but it was evident that something was amiss. The council convened once again to discuss the implications of this discovery. Admiral Ceres took the lead in the discussions, her mind racing with possibilities. "This is no ordinary attack," Ceres said. "The Guardians mentioned in the message could be a new force emerging from the shadows. We need to gather more intelligence about these so-called Guardians and their connection to humanity." The urgency of the situation was apparent. The council knew they had to act quickly to uncover the truth behind the Guardians and their relation to humanity's rising power. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and the next steps they took would determine the outcome of this unfolding saga. As the council prepared for the next phase of their investigation, Commander Elena Carter and Ambassador Koran continued their discussions, each aware of the growing threat that loomed over their respective peoples. The quest for answers had just begun, and the galaxy was on the brink of a new era, one that would test the limits of human ingenuity and resolve. The Guardian's secret. The celestial citadel's grand hall was filled with the echoes of heated debate. The council members were grappling with the implications of the recent attack on the mining colony and the mysterious message about the Guardians. High Chancellor Xelos, deeply concerned, sought to address the growing anxiety among the council members. "We must uncover the truth about these Guardians," Sedos declared. The attack on the colony was a clear sign that something significant is happening. We need to understand who or what these guardians are and how they are connected to humanity. Admiral Ceres and her team of experts began analyzing the data from the destroyed mining colony. Among the recovered evidence was a strange artifact, a device of unknown origin, pulsating with an eerie light. The artifact was unlike anything they had seen before, and its purpose was shrouded in mystery. As the Council delved deeper into the investigation, Commander Elena Carter received new intelligence from her own sources. The reports indicated that the Guardians were not just a single entity, but a coalition of different factions, each with their own agendas. The complexity of the situation was growing more apparent. Elena arranged a meeting with Ambassador Corrin to share the new findings. They met in a secure location, away from prying eyes. Elena's expression was grave as she presented the information. "We've discovered that the Guardians are not a unified group," Elena explained. "They are made up of several factions, each with its own motives. This adds another layer of complexity to the situation." Ambassador Corrin's face was stern as he absorbed the information. "This changes everything. If the Guardians are a coalition, their motives and objectives could vary widely. We need to establish contact with these factions to understand their intentions." The two leaders decided to focus their efforts on identifying and reaching out to the key factions within the Guardians. They knew that understanding the Guardians' true nature was crucial to devising a strategy to counter any potential threat. Meanwhile, on the edge of the galaxy, a clandestine meeting was taking place between two figures who had been watching the unfolding events from afar. One was an enigmatic alien known as Raxus, who had long been a thorn in the side of the Galactic Council. The other was a human named Dr. Emily Harris, a brilliant scientist with extensive knowledge of advanced technologies. "We've seen the Council's response to the recent developments," Raxus said. "Their fear of the Guardians is palpable, but what they don't realize is that the Guardians are not the only force at play." Dr. Harris nodded in agreement. "Humanity's rapid technological advancement is indeed a game-changer. We've developed new technologies that could shift the balance of power, but we must be cautious in how we wield this power." The conversation between Raxus and Dr. Harris revealed that there were deeper, more complex dynamics at play than anyone had initially realized. The Guardians were just one piece of the puzzle, and there were other forces at work that could influence the outcome of the galaxy-wide conflict. As the investigation continued, the Council members worked tirelessly to decode the artifact and decipher its meaning. The artifact's strange energy signatures suggested that it was of ancient origin and possibly linked to a long-lost civilization. This added another layer of intrigue to the mystery surrounding the Guardians. In the midst of the uncertainty, a message arrived from the edge of the galaxy. It was a plea for help from a remote outpost that had been cut off from communication. The message hinted at an impending invasion by an unknown force. The Council had no choice but to respond to the distress call and investigate the situation. As the various factions in the galaxy prepared for the coming storm, it became clear that the conflict was evolving into something far greater than anyone had anticipated. The Guardians, the rise of humanity, and the mysterious artifact were all interconnected, and the outcome of this epic struggle would determine the future of the galaxy. Shadows of the past. The Galactic Council's task force arrived at the remote outpost, only to find it in a state of chaos. The once thriving facility was now in ruins, with signs of a fierce battle evident everywhere. The distress message had been cut off abruptly, and there were no survivors to provide answers. As Admiral Ceres and her team surveyed the wreckage, they discovered another message similar to the one found at the mining colony. This new message was more detailed, revealing glimpses of the mysterious Guardians and their intentions. "The message speaks of an ancient prophecy," Ceres said, examining the data. "It mentions a coming darkness and the rise of a new power that will challenge the established order." The prophecy hinted at a pivotal moment in the galaxy's history, where the old powers would face a reckoning, and a new force would emerge to reshape the future. The Council's members were deeply concerned about the implications of these revelations. Commander Elena Carter, working alongside Ambassador Corran, continued her efforts to make contact with the factions within the Guardians. They had managed to establish communication with a faction known as the Luminaries, a group that claimed to seek peace and balance in the galaxy. The Luminaries' leader, a wise and enigmatic figure named Zephyr, agreed to meet with Elena and Corran. The meeting took place on a neutral planet, far from the prying eyes of the Council and other factions. "We are aware of the growing tensions and the ancient prophecy," Zephyr said, addressing Elena and Corran. "Our goal is to prevent the galaxy from descending into chaos. But we need to understand the full extent of the threat we face." The Luminaries revealed that the Guardians were not a unified force, but rather a coalition of different factions, each with its own agenda. Some sought to challenge the established powers, while others aimed to bring about a new era of cooperation and understanding. As Elena and Corran listened to Zephyr's insights, they realized that the situation was more complex than they had initially thought. The rise of humanity and the emergence of the Guardians were part of a larger cosmic struggle that spanned millennia. Back on Earth, Dr. Emily Harris continued her research on the mysterious artifact found at the mining colony. Her analysis revealed that the artifact was a key to unlocking ancient technologies and knowledge that had been lost for centuries. This knowledge could potentially provide humanity with a significant advantage in the ongoing conflict. Dr. Harris' research also uncovered a hidden message within the artifact, hinting at a long-lost civilization that had once wielded immense power. The message spoke of a great convergence, a moment when different forces and civilizations would come together to reshape the galaxy. As the various factions in the galaxy navigated the growing uncertainties, the stage was set for a dramatic confrontation. The ancient prophecy, the rise of humanity, and the enigmatic Guardians all pointed to a turning point in the galaxy's history. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: the galaxy was on the brink of a new era, and the actions taken in the coming days would determine its fate. The gathering storm. The galaxy was a volatile place, and the recent events had only intensified the unrest. The Galactic Council was on high alert, grappling with the revelations from the ancient prophecy and the growing power of humanity. Admiral Ceres and her team continued their investigation into the mysterious artifact, seeking to uncover its secrets and its connection to the Guardians. In a high-security research facility, Ceres worked alongside Dr. Emily Harris, who had been brought in to assist with the analysis of the artifact. The two scientists, despite their different backgrounds, found common ground in their quest for knowledge. "We've made significant progress," Dr. Harris said, examining the artifact's data. The artifact contains information about an ancient civilization that had advanced technology far beyond anything we currently possess. Admiral Ceres nodded in agreement. "If we can unlock this knowledge, it could give us a crucial advantage in the conflict. But we need to proceed with caution. The artifact's power is immense, and it's clear that we're dealing with forces beyond our understanding." Meanwhile, Commander Elena Carter and Ambassador Corran continued their diplomatic efforts with the Luminaries. Their discussions had revealed that the Guardians were not a monolithic entity, but a coalition of factions with diverse goals. Some sought to challenge the Galactic Council's authority, while others aimed to forge alliances and bring about a new era of cooperation. The Luminaries' leader, Zephyr, had proposed a meeting with representatives from other Guardian factions to discuss a potential alliance. Elena and Corran agreed to participate, hoping to gain a deeper understanding of the Guardians' true intentions. The meeting took place on a remote moon, far from the reach of the Galactic Council. Representatives from various factions gathered, each bringing their own perspectives and agendas. The atmosphere was tense, and the discussions were fraught with distrust and skepticism. Zephyr addressed the assembly, calling for unity and cooperation in the face of the impending crisis. "We are at a crossroads," Zephyr said. "The prophecy speaks of a great convergence, a moment when different forces will come together to shape the future. We must put aside our differences and work together to confront the challenges ahead." The representatives listened intently, their expressions revealing a mix of hope and apprehension. The discussions that followed were intense and complex, reflecting the diverse interests and motivations of the factions involved. As the negotiations continued, the Galactic Council received alarming reports of increased activity from the Guardians. The once hidden factions were now making their presence known, and their actions were causing unrest among the established powers. In response to the escalating situation, the Council decided to take a more proactive approach. Admiral Ceres and her team were tasked with leading a reconnaissance mission to gather intelligence on the Guardians' activities and their potential plans. The mission would take them deep into uncharted territories, where the Guardians were believed to be assembling their forces. The goal was to uncover any information that could provide insight into the Guardians' strategies and intentions. As the mission commenced, tensions ran high. The team faced numerous challenges as they navigated through dangerous regions and encountered unexpected obstacles. The stakes were higher than ever, and the outcome of their efforts would have far-reaching consequences. Back on Earth, Commander Elena Carter and Dr. Emily Harris continued their research on the ancient artifact. Their discoveries pointed to a hidden network of ancient technologies and knowledge that could play a pivotal role in the conflict. The Great Convergence, as described in the prophecy, seemed increasingly likely to come to pass. The forces of the galaxy were aligning, and the actions of the coming days would determine the fate of countless civilizations. The prophecy unfolds. The galaxy was on the brink of a major upheaval. As the Galactic Council and various factions within the Guardians prepared for the coming conflict, the ancient prophecy continued to loom over their efforts. The Great Convergence, as foretold, was drawing closer, and the stakes were higher than ever. Admiral Ceres and her team had successfully completed their reconnaissance mission, returning with crucial intelligence about the Guardians' activities. The data revealed that the Guardians were indeed assembling a formidable force, preparing for a major offensive. The Council convened to discuss the findings and formulate a response. High Chancellor Tselos addressed the assembly, his voice filled with a sense of urgency. "We have gathered valuable intelligence on the Guardians," Tselos said. "Their preparations indicate that they are planning a significant operation. We must be ready to respond to whatever they have in store." Admiral Ceres and her team presented their analysis, detailing the Guardians' movements and their potential objectives. The data suggested that the Guardians were targeting key strategic locations across the galaxy, aiming to disrupt the established order and assert their influence. In response to the emerging threat, the Council decided to launch a series of preemptive strikes to weaken the Guardians' position. The goal was to disrupt their plans and prevent them from gaining a decisive advantage. Meanwhile, Commander Elena Carter and Ambassador Corin continued their diplomatic efforts with the luminaries and other Guardian factions. Their negotiations had been challenging, but they had managed to secure tentative agreements for cooperation and joint action. The luminaries' leader, Zephyr, had emphasized the importance of unity in the face of the impending crisis. "We must work together to confront the challenges ahead," Zephyr said. "Our combined efforts will be crucial in shaping the outcome of this conflict." As the various factions prepared for the coming confrontation, the ancient artifact continued to reveal its secrets. Dr. Emily Harris' research uncovered new insights into the artifact's purpose and its connection to the prophecy. The artifact contained detailed schematics of advanced technologies that had been lost to history. These technologies had the potential to shift the balance of power, but they also came with risks. The artifact's creators had built-in safeguards to prevent misuse, and understanding these safeguards was crucial. In the midst of these preparations, the Guardians launched their offensive. The galaxy was thrust into a state of chaos as their forces engaged in a series of coordinated attacks on key locations. The established powers struggled to respond to the sudden onslaught. The Council's preemptive strikes had some success, but the scale of the Guardians' offensive was overwhelming. The conflict rapidly escalated, and the fate of the galaxy seemed increasingly uncertain. Commander Elena Carter and her allies faced intense challenges as they fought to protect their territories and repel the Guardians' advances. The battles were fierce, and the toll on both sides was heavy. As the conflict raged on, the prophecy began to take shape. The Great Convergence was unfolding, and the forces of the galaxy were being tested in ways they had never imagined. The outcome of this epic struggle would determine the future of countless civilizations and the course of history itself. The clash of titans. The galaxy was engulfed in a fierce and unprecedented conflict. The Guardians' offensive had taken the galaxy by storm, and the established powers were struggling to maintain control. The Celestial Citadel and its allies were engaged in a desperate fight to repel the invaders and protect their territories. Admiral Ceres and her team were at the forefront of the struggle, coordinating defensive operations and launching counterattacks against the Guardians' forces. The battles were intense, and the losses were mounting, but Ceres remained determined to turn the tide in their favor. In the midst of the chaos, Commander Elena Carter and her allies continued their efforts to counter the Guardians' advances. The battles were taking a toll on both sides, but Elena's leadership and strategic acumen were making a difference. The luminaries, led by Zephyr, had joined the fight alongside the established powers. Their advanced technologies and knowledge proved to be a valuable asset in the struggle against the Guardians. Together, they mounted a series of coordinated strikes to push back the invaders and regain lost ground. As the conflict escalated, the ancient artifact continued to play a central role. Dr. Emily Harris' research had revealed new insights into the artifact's capabilities. It was clear that the artifact held the key to unlocking powerful technologies that could turn the tide of the conflict. The artifact's creators had left behind detailed instructions on how to harness its power. These instructions were complex and required a deep understanding of the artifact's design and purpose. Dr. Harris and her team worked tirelessly to decipher the instructions and prepare for the next phase of their plan. In a pivotal moment, the Guardians launched a major assault on a crucial stronghold. The battle was fierce and unforgiving, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The outcome of this battle would determine the balance of power and the future of the galaxy. Admiral Ceres and her team led a desperate defense, utilizing every resource and strategy at their disposal. The fight was grueling, and the stakes were higher than ever. The Guardians' forces pressed forward with relentless determination, but the defenders held their ground. Commander Elena Carter and her allies played a crucial role in turning the tide of the battle. Their coordination and resilience made a significant impact, and they managed to push back the Guardians' advance. As the battle reached its climax, the artifact's power was unleashed. The advanced technologies contained within the artifact were activated, providing a decisive advantage to the defenders. The tide of the conflict began to shift in their favor. The Guardians, faced with unexpected resistance and the newly discovered capabilities of the artifact, were forced to reconsider their strategies. The battle that had seemed unwinnable now offered a glimmer of hope for the defenders. The clash of titans had reached a turning point, and the outcome of the struggle was uncertain. The galaxy held its breath as the forces of light and darkness faced off in a dramatic showdown. The fate of countless civilizations hung in the balance, and the final chapter of this epic conflict was yet to be written. A new dawn. The galaxy was on the brink of a new era. The intense conflict between the Guardians and the established powers had reached its climax, and the outcome of the struggle would determine the future of countless civilizations. The battle for the crucial stronghold had marked a turning point in the conflict. With the artifact's power providing a decisive advantage, the defenders had managed to repel the Guardians' assault and regain control of key territories. Admiral Ceres and her team had played a pivotal role in the victory, their leadership and strategic brilliance making a significant impact on the outcome of the battle. The tide had turned in favor of the defenders, but the struggle was far from over. Commander Elena Carter and her allies continued their efforts to bring about a resolution to the conflict. Their diplomatic and strategic initiatives had helped to forge new alliances and strengthen existing ones. The luminaries, led by Zephyr, had proven to be valuable allies in the fight against the Guardians. In the aftermath of the battle, the focus shifted to rebuilding and healing. The galaxy had been deeply scarred by the conflict, and the process of recovery would be long and challenging. The leaders of the various factions came together to address the aftermath of the struggle and to lay the groundwork for a new era of cooperation. Dr. Emily Harris' research on the artifact had provided valuable insights into the ancient technologies and knowledge that had been uncovered. The artifact's capabilities were harnessed to aid in the reconstruction efforts and to address the needs of the galaxy's various civilizations. As the galaxy began to heal, the prophecy of the Great Convergence was seen in a new light. The coming together of different forces and civilizations had not only shaped the outcome of the conflict, but also set the stage for a new chapter in galactic history. The Guardians, having faced unexpected resistance and the power of the artifact, were forced to reconsider their approach. Some factions sought to negotiate and find common ground, while others remained resolute in their pursuit of their goals. The process of reconciliation and rebuilding was ongoing, but there was a sense of hope and optimism for the future. The galaxy had endured a great trial and emerged stronger and more united. As the leaders and citizens of the galaxy looked toward the future, they were filled with a sense of purpose and determination. The lessons learned from the conflict would guide them in their efforts to create a better and more harmonious galaxy. The story of the conflict and its resolution became a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of countless individuals who had come together to shape the destiny of the galaxy. It was a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming challenges, hope and unity could prevail. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and the galaxy stood poised on the threshold of a brighter future.